See, the advantage of this is that it's spreading this out and pounding it down at a very specific place. So the very specific place, now that I have this much, I think you'll agree, I could hit this harder, see?
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit this, and up here we know there's very little of that pattern up here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to, I can even go to the corner, look, see? Because I also want the next layer to grab, see? I want the next layer of sand to grab.
Wow.
So, and I don't want to damage the edge of the wood, see, so I have to be careful. I have to pay attention that when we make these on the table, so notice the joints so that they don't pop out.
Yeah.
So,
what do you call the bottom half of the dolly shape?
the bottom half of what? So
the
this is called the flask, and it has the cope and the drag. That meaning there's two pieces. But normally that's determined, as if you read in books, they might say, well, here's what the cope looks like, here's what the drag looks like. But again, Al Clark, he did a lot of things, I would say, unconventionally. And he said one of the main advantages is that, he says, in my life, I've taught many people who had no money, had very little money, and they made all their own equipment.
Huh.
And he says, but even without that, this is a better way to do it. Why? Because as you'll see, you control much better. You control where the gate is, you see? You control so much more about the process. See, now since I know where this is, I'm trying to make sand go, I'm doing it symmetrically, huh? A few hits on this side, a few hits on the side. Isn't that where the pattern is in there? Yeah. See? From the end, coming in here, see? Like this, like this. Along the edges, okay, like that, all right. And now, and by the way, I'm doing this with the hope that I have enough sand. I have some more in that barrel as well, because I realize it's crazy not to show you guys how I do this. You know what I mean? I mean, we could do it at another time, but I thought, why not? And this is thanks really to Barry reached out right away, said, oh yeah, I want to come to the pour. And I knew that Rick had wanted to. I didn't know who else was going to be here, but I knew that probably there's at least a couple of guys. And of course, I knew Lawrence with his cultural and other interest in this kind of thing. I figured, oh, he's probably going to show up, you see.
Yeah.
I don't know that Lee or Carson is probably going to show up, but not for this because he's he doesn't get up that early, I think. But he's in the loop. He had actually wanted to come in today anyhow. And so I wanted you to know that there are certain Saturdays where I'm still going to come in, I'm going to do stuff, and students could come and work in a corner and not, therefore there's no problem. If you're in the corner far away, you don't even need a mask, you see? Mm-hmm. So it's like we're trying to follow the law, but we also, we'd like to keep moving. Any classes that you missed, obviously the school is not charging anything to you for those classes. They're not counted in your tuition. It doesn't matter to me whether you stay away for 2 months or 3 months, or what doesn't matter whatsoever to me. You see? You just come, if you wish, you can say, oh, I really would like to come in and practice here because my family are driving me crazy, or I don't have a house from my neighbors, or whatever it is, you see, whatever. This is like a little sanctuary here. Isn't it? It's a nice place to hang out. So it's perfectly all right to come and do that. And we all just respect each other, and we're respecting the law, and we just say, okay, I'm going to be over here and over here. And
what's the tool you're using now? What do you call that?
this, I can't remember, to be honest with you, but I think there's the packing tool. There's many different kinds. You go to a commercial place, they're using air power. You can see them.
Oh,
Air
really?
hammer. It's a hammer, but it's a packing hammer, okay? Sand packing hammer. Or mallet, if you prefer. Okay, now I'm putting more pressure, would you agree? have one that's light, and I have one that's heavy, just the one I have, okay? So this is enough pressure, okay? Coming, I'm above, you see? I'm above, I want this to be a mound above here, okay? So substantial pressure, agreed?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now that I'm here, and it can be, believe me, like if you were in a commercial place, they're like, what are you doing? You know, this, you should have had this done 2 hours ago. See, they're going so fast. But we're learning about it, huh? So we're going to go a little bit slower, looking for what I did with the.
Bigger mallet.
No, let's see. This gear over here. And, oh, here it is. Okay. So now I'm going to be using this guy to initially cut this, okay? So I'm going to be cutting this, and I'll get this guy out of the way, so that way I don't want to get any on the floor, and so I'm going to come this way, and I'm just sort of cutting this, see? Using this initially, I'm cutting it, and moving this sand out of the way, and then ultimately I'm going to be scraping, okay? Because I want this to be flat on this side, okay? Cut, and I'll scrape this, huh? All right. Okay, because we want this to sit flat. And there's little particles and God knows what gets into this over time. All right, so this one is now ready for me to turn over. So I take this, bring it, lift it up, and turn it over after putting this guy on this side. Okay? So I put this guy on this side now. Right here, we can see what I have. Okay? Now, this guy is going to be the drag. Now, why is this guy going to be the drag? Because of the imprint in it. So, impurities of the bronze rise up. So whether it's this fitting, where's our big fitting? Is it, what did I do it?
Right there by the broom.
Oh, the fitting? Oh yeah, thank you. So, you see, if anything's going to fail, the last thing we want to fail is the thing that's connected to the bowsprit. So we want to let any impurities rise up away from the most important place. This we could make just out of a piece of bronze rod, but this is very elegant what Chris made, this pattern. Very beautiful with a little 5-pointed star. So we're trying to catch that pattern.
Oh, I see. So that's down in the coat.
This is in the drag.
Oh, okay.
See, the way to remember it, when something drags, it's below, isn't it?
I see.
So if you want to remember it, say, oh, cope and the drag. The drag is the lower one.
Drags a little.
This is going to get poured in here. This one is smooth. This is going to be the cope. So I'm putting this on top of here. See, like this. Putting this there. There. Okay. Now I go back and I find my powder. So here it is. And I powder this. Okay. So there we go. Powder the sand directly. Okay. This is why this is way better than what I did on the other one, because it's a direct fit. Let's say this has some irregularities, or what about when I pound this? Isn't it going to push the sand down here and there? It is, but the one I'm putting in is going to match it. You see? So there's no problem. Okay? putting my powder on here. Okay, make sure that it separates, that it doesn't actually stick to the other sand.
Oh.
Okay.
Just the powder allows that to happen, though?
Yeah, the powder usually works unless your sand is too wet, if you're using watered sand or something like that. Okay, and this sand is better because it does take up moisture in the winter. So it's not that it has no water, it just doesn't take it up anywhere near like the other ones. So, okay, so now, oops, sorry. You can see, now I'm gonna bring more sand over here. We're gonna take this guy out of the way for now. And I'm gonna go back to what I was doing earlier. Huh? I'm gonna get some sand, kind of look at the quality of it over here, put it in here. And I'm using my thumb to push it through the screen. So here, we're just doing this. If this was a piece of jewelry or something, we would do this, really a lot of this, even finer. Mm-hmm. See? And as I've told students before, go to the Asian Art Museum to see the most amazing things done over the centuries with no electric blower like what we're going to use for increasing the temperature. They would just find a place on a mountain or a place where they could cut a channel in the mountain and collect the wind and make that with their charcoal fire, heat up stuff. What they do is just beyond belief. They must have known so much about how to do that. So that it's inconceivable. Go look at the quality, the finesse of what they did. It's beyond belief. Of course, they might have had bellows. It's like if it was in a royal court, they would have had bellows. They would have people working bellows. But if it was just the average person in the countryside, they're going to be using wind, because it's a lot easier and better, because you wait for windy days. Oh, the wind's up. Let's go up there and collect that wind, let it come through, and let's do this, huh? So there we go. We have this. Okay. So that's enough of that. Now I'm going to this guy, as you know, and I'm going to start packing sand more generally. Now this guy, we know, it's the same relationship, but it's this way. Agreed?
Yeah.
So we have the fat side is right here, see? And see, so I can again see, it's the same relationship, it's the same flask is one side. So you just say, now if you need to, you put marks on the flask so you can help yourself. But if it's something this simple, you don't need to do that. Yeah, Al Clark was an amazing fellow, and he had a great sense of humor as well, especially fueled at cocktail hour, which he was very fond of engaging in every day with his wife. To be honest, I think they were both alcoholics. They really enjoyed the cocktail hour a great deal. And but they were lovely people, really lovely people. Okay, so we're like this, right? Okay, so we remember what we're doing. And then as you know, I'm going to want to put some sand around the edges, okay? Sand around the edges, because I want, when I push down in the middle here, I don't want that to move away from what I'm doing there, okay? So come over here. I'm using the smaller one first, okay? This little guy. Which, by the way, you can also use as a mallet.
Huh.
Okay. So, how's our time?
It's 8:42.
Well, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. And we'll put a sign up if people don't show up right away. We'll put a sign up for them, huh? Okay, now I'm going to go after the middle, huh, which is here. And I'm putting on either side, huh? Pressure, front, pressure. There's a lot of depth here, right? What if what if I put a lot of pressure? What if it pushes into the other sand? No problem. No problem whatsoever. Because it's going to match it. Okay. Excuse me for just a second.
You guys staying at home, or you working, or what's going on with you?
What?
I'm lucky enough to be working.
You working?
Yeah.
I'm home next week. Supposedly, it's gonna open the company. Well, I've been working from home for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So supposedly we open and we continue working from home, but it is difficult.
Yeah. Makes it tricky, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How about you, Vic?
Same thing, you know, working from home. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a full timer like you guys, but I have some clients I'm doing some work for. It's limited because, you know, a lot of my work includes going to the residence or, you know, going to
Right.
deal with a vendor or whatever, so I can't really do that stuff until they lift the restrictions.
Yeah.
A couple weeks back, a friend of mine called me and said, "You want to social distance out on the bay?" And I said, "What do you mean?" So we took a sailboat out on the bay and sailed it around.
Oh,
Just
there you
the
go.
two of us, you know. He was
Yeah.
at the stern, I was at the, you know, at the mast. And,
Uh-huh.
not a soul out there. It was great.
Huh.
Yeah. But we haven't done that since. I think they're starting to give out, you know, tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I need to take a pee anyway, so that was perfect timing.
My wife has a sister who lives. She's learning disabled. She lives in a home in Long Island. It started spreading like crazy
Oh
on
my God,
Long Island.
you see the news about that, boy.
So we went through a consultant and got a test arranged. We couldn't get a test for her with her doctor. They wouldn't even return a call.
Oh, really?
Huh.
But we got one of those drive-through tests set up through the state, and that way her sister could take her out of the home, drive her to the test. Within 24 hours they had the answer, which was negative, and they tested her sister who was driving as well, because she was going to take her into her house and have her live in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, it's like the chance of getting it if you live in a home is like 5 times.
Yeah.
It's just
Normal-
astonishing,
normal
the
is.
stuff we're finding out.
Yeah. So anyway, everything worked out well.
Well, that's good. That's hard to deal with stuff like that, long distance.
Oh man, it was tricky. Yeah. If we hadn't found this consultant, we couldn't have done it. She pulled the strings.
So you'll see that everything, including when we go down the road, you'll see that everything, including the furnaces, I have made. The bad, funky welds clearly were not made by a professional welder. You'll see, but over the years, this is what
But they
I've
work.
used. So there's some things though you have to buy. It's very important you buy good crucible to put the bronze in. That's that you have to replace from time to time. So there are certain necessity, good bronze. You can use scrap bronze, but not for a project like this that's going to have a mast. The mast could collapse if this fitting fails, you see, because the mast is being held at the front end at the bowsprit.
Where do you get the material, the bronze material from?
Oh, you just go online and you want to compare prices, because it's very, it's not like the old days. You would just go to a standard place. Today you go online and you find out who's got the best price and who wants the business.
Yeah.
And who's willing to ship on your terms, etc. You see, so you really have to shop around. Now this guy's very wealthy, but I don't care who's wealthy. When we did the boat for Larry Ellison, you know, the engineers were like, "Oh, hey, don't worry." I said, "But listen, I'm not going to treat you guys any different than anybody else.
Yeah.
This is what I do." This guy's apparently a billionaire also. The guy who has the Copperhead, he owns several vessels.
Oh, he does.
That are wooden vessels bigger than the Copperhead. But I said, no, to me, this is just what I do. You know, I do it the way I do it, take it or leave it.
Does he pay the school for this part?
Yeah, I'm gonna charge for the materials, but one of the reasons I was happy you guys came today was because I was supposed to do this before the hernia operation.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But as you know, saving Dolphin was the first priority. And luckily for me, this is a huge project and they're behind schedule a little bit.
Yeah,
So that's what worked out.
very good.
Most things do in the end.
I'm sorry?
Most things do work out in the end.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how dense that sounds. That feels very dense.
Yeah.
Lee.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good, thanks. That was like refreshing. It almost felt normal.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thanks for the piece of wood.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Well, I haven't had a chance to do anything except put it next to the fence, because as you'll see, I had to move all the boats to be able to do this, what we're doing today. I had to do a lot of stuff, and so luckily we do have enough sand. You see, just barely.
Yeah.
So very often I'll put my hand next to here, which makes me not hit the wood. See.
Is that sand something that you mix personally, Bob, or is that something you buy?
Well, you
with the oil?
do mix it. Like it's not as consistent as I would like. Sometimes I should say they've added too much oil,
Oh, okay.
and so I want to put drier sand in with it. So you'll notice that some is like the original color looks like that. See,
Yeah.
like very reddish. So you can see I'm mixing in sand from several years.
Yeah.
So you
There's
buy it
some-
already with oil in it?
Yeah. This sand here, this is, you see, I do so little casting, and I want it to be as successful as possible for the students.
Yeah.
Now, we no longer mention this in the course curriculum for insurance reasons. If students want to do this, they can do it,
Yeah.
but it's a separate thing.
I see.
And they could do it. I told her I made the equipment. It's my equipment, just like the chainsaw. When I do the chain milling, it's my equipment. It's my saw. So I can allow students to work with it. See? Okay. So we're just about ready to separate the two sides, but I still have to. And we're lucky that Lawrence either needed more light to see what we're doing, or he's actually recording this.
I
In
am.
which case, people like Perry and other people are going to be grateful to you.
Yeah, I can.
See.
I'll send it and
Yeah.
tell everybody.
So now, Reshma Rasvi, the filmmaker, she did incredible footage, first-rate footage, when I was doing some of the Frida castings, and
No pressure, Lawrence. The bar's been set pretty high. Don't screw this thing up.
Yeah.
Academy Award winner.
yeah, this is the anonymous casting. You see, so nobody knows who we are. Just like in the movies, you just have a minor change of your appearance, and you get away with it. See?
Can digitally modify.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to be, like last time, I'm going to be cutting the sand first. And so you can actually see that I am mixing the sand, because you can look at the patterns in there. There's clearly different batches that I'm trying to join together.
There's some dark, which means it's from prior casting.
Now, one other thing is very important. Don't ever use it for lead unless you're going to throw it away. Because lead is dangerous
It will stay.
if it should vaporize.
Yeah.
Lead is like ice, and if you were to get it at the right temperature, it would become liquefied. And it's not that dangerous if it's just molten.
Oh, I see.
However, if it gets beyond 700, 800 degrees, and bronze is going to go up to 2,000 degrees, pretty much, see? We're going to be working between 1900 and 2,000 degrees. So that would cause the lead to vaporize.
Yeah.
See? And that's very dangerous. So, okay, now I'm moving this out of the way. I'm coming over to the edge. This is twice as heavy now. I'm lifting it up, putting it over on its side, like so. Removing this, and now I'm going to separate these two. Okay, so for that, I'm going to be using this guy. And this here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm putting the knife in at the joint, and I'm going to leave this knife in here, and I'm going to open this from this side over here. See? This side over here, do the same thing. Putting the knife in here, see? Separating this. And here, I will just put a little sort of wood in here to hold this for me while I separate it more from this side. Okay, so we're just trying to make sure that the patterns, so now I can see through it. And if you want, you might want to see that. Come from this side and look, because that way you can, we'll take turns. That way you should see that the pattern has not fallen out. See, if you look all the way through. If you see that it's falling out, you should think, oh, maybe if I pack it harder, or maybe I'm going to have to start that side over again. You see? Can you see?
Yeah.
You're seeing the little pins that are holding.
You see the dowel still there.
Yeah. You see?
Very
In
good.
the middle, you see the little pins. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, very good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish separating this, and use this chopstick on this side so that I can put more pressure over here. There we go. Okay. And now I look again, looks fine, and I'm going to pull this guy towards me. Okay, right there, like so. Now you can see the two halves. All right.
Amazing.
And what I'm going to do now is,
Take a picture.
yeah. Now I'm going to have this supported at all times, the sand, with a piece of wood underneath. But I don't count on that. I don't count on that. So if I take this and I put it this way, I don't expect the sand to fall out because of how tight I've packed it.
Yeah.
Having said that, I'm still going to back it up while I'm removing things. So I'm going to remove this guy first because this has the design in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to remove this guy Or is it that guy? Which guy has the design? This guy
that one
has the
it, 'cause
design.
that
One without
Yeah.
the pins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the lower.
so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to go after this one first, only for your sake, because this one is easier. So you see the easy one, and then you're gonna see the harder one, okay? So I'm gonna leave this here. I'll keep this chopstick, and I'll use this little hammer here. And I will be gently tapping. See, so not only do we have draft, but we have to create some space. Okay? So you can see I'm going to be going side to side. And I went lengthwise, huh? Agreed?
It already rotated.
Yeah, because it's round. See, this one is round.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that it's, when it's lifted out, we want to be sure that it's, like here, it could lift out a tiny bit right there. No big deal, you would just file that off. As I told you, the big fitting, it may have to have some stuff sawn away because it's not sand to sand. So this is the better way, okay? Okay, now we can see that this one is relatively loose. And so now I'm going to be grabbing this with this guy. Okay? And basically, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to have a piece of wood to rest my hands on. See? So I have to strategize. How would I like to lift it out? And probably I will go to like a longer piece of wood for this. Let's see. All right, so I don't want to harm this surface, but I do want to have a place from which to lift this, okay? This, and I'm putting this down in a way that I could get, and I have to be careful this doesn't get hurt. So now I'm coming over here, and I'm going to be grabbing this, okay? Probably, I'll grab this guy right here. It's not central, but the weight is kind of central, agreed? Holding this down, locking this. Okay. Now that it's locked, I'm going to be gently sort of lifting it out of here.
Nice.
There, okay? So this guy is easy because it has pins on it. So there's the shape of the fitting. I remove anything that could harm it. And now I'm moving to the other one. So this guy here, I'll put it up in a way that you can easily photograph. See, I'll put this guy over here. You can see it very easily. Okay. Now this guy here, I have to figure out what I'm going to use to grab it. So it depends what was used in the past. And let's see. What do I have?
Something with pins.
I'm just looking around for something that might work. This is probably too big. but actually maybe not. See, this may be fine. Okay. I'll just found object, huh?
The screw.
Yeah. So I'm just grabbing it. And now I'm going to do the same thing, which is more carefully, because this has the design in it, doesn't it? So this one, you have to go to the bottom because it'll lift, right? So if I have something sharp, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's better because it won't tilt the screw. Okay, so, okay, there we go. So this one I have to be careful because I really like that design and I don't want to harm that design especially. So, so there we are. I'm going to do the same thing. This had less, huh? Less, bringing this here again and making sure this is tight. And I want to see each side. You see, I want to see each end so I can make sure that I have it even. See? Putting more weight down here because my arm is down here. All right? So you see what I'm saying? You have to have a place for your hands to rest. You have to think it through a little bit. How are you going to do it? See? And there it is. Ta-da! Look at the design.
Beautiful.
Okay. Now, the next thing is to see, I'll put this up temporarily and I'm going to come back to the other one. So be very careful, and I'm bringing this over here because what is it that I want to do with this one? This is, which one is the cope and which one is the drag?
Well, that should be the drag, probably this level. Or maybe
Cope's the upper, the
opposite.
drag's the lower.
Yeah, which one is the?
This is the drag.
Well, this is
This
the
is
drag
the drag.
because it's got
This
the
is
shape
the
of it.
cope. So because I'm going to be pouring from the top, I'm going to work on the cope first. Okay? So I'm going to move this out of the way so that you can easily, all of you I hope can easily see this. So I come over here and I'm going to choose the size of gate, and this is perfectly adequate for what I'm doing, okay? So what I'm going to do here, I'm looking for an object that's long enough, which I usually have one around here, like this, so that I can, what I want to do is I'm going to pour this, I'm going to create a bank. The bank has extra bronze to prevent the fitting from shrinking. So I'm working with the cope and I'm cutting the sand. I've sharpened the end of some conduit. See? I've sharpened it. And I'm clearing it as I go. There we go. Clearing it. Okay, so. Okay. Go. Okay. Now I'm all the way through. I'm spinning it around, and next I'm going to be tilting it back up, so clearing off a little bit of the debris right here. I'm bringing this guy back, and this guy I have to make sure it's exactly in the same order. See? So this is facing this way. Many a fitting has gone badly because people were busy thinking of something else or talking to their friends or whatever. See, so I bring this up and I line this up with this, and I'm gonna come in, not quite as far, but far enough that I can transfer the location of this guy. Ah, I didn't come all the way through. I thought I did. Did I not? Okay, well, we're gonna come back and just push this through here. I know I got to the bottom, but it didn't come all the way through. So push this through here.